Hi, my name is Isabella, and today I would like to talk to you about how to stop people from manipulating you. This is a very important subject because we all, at one stage or another in our lives, will be manipulated by others, but there are ways to stop this. And it took me a long time to find out that I was being manipulated in a lot of situations. And this is because I had such a low self-esteem and low self-worth, and also a very weak self identity. And I didn't really know who I was and what I wanted. So maybe this is the most important thing to find out about yourself is, who are you? What do you want out of life? What do you find acceptable and not acceptable in other people's behavior, for example? How far are you willing to go to help others? Now, why do people try to manipulate us? Well, there are several reasons. These people normally have the idea that they can control others, control their emotions, control their actions, and they have very weak boundaries, which means they don't really know where their person stops and the next person begins. There's no separation, so they really believe that they can use people to their advantage and get them to do things or to be a certain way. So this can happen in the workplace, it can happen at home, it can happen with a parent, with a partner, with a child, with a friend. The list goes on. The opportunities are always there. So how do you stop them from attempting to manipulate you? Well, there are 3 steps. Number 1, examine the request. What do they want you to do? What do they want you to be like, or what do they want you to achieve, or to, like, it can be anything. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about that request? How does it make you feel? Really, does it make you feel uncomfortable? Well, this is already alarm bells ringing and telling you, don't go that way, don't do it. Because if someone asks you to do something and you feel really good about it, and you feel, oh yes, I really want to help, or I really want to do this, then it comes from the generosity and the kindness of your heart, and it actually makes you feel good about yourself. Then that's a sign that it's okay and you can do it. But if you feel negative about it in any way, and you feel guilty if you don't do it, or you feel embarrassed, you feel ashamed that the other person might judge you, or might think that you're a bad person, or incapable, or just not a very nice person, then it's a clear indication that you should not do it. Now, number 2, you have to say no, and this is the hardest part. A lot of us are so scared to say no. No is the hardest word ever. So you need to be very firm, and it has to be a very clear no, without much explanation. Don't add any excuses or any apologies. It's no, I just can't do it. No, or no, I don't want to do this. And you have to stand your ground. You have to be very strong and not deviate from it, because as soon as you deviate from it, you give room to the other person to manipulate you further and make you feel guilty, make you feel, oh, you should really do this, because look, I've always been there for you, look at everything I've done for you, all the things I've given to you, blah blah blah. It goes on and on. But no, you have to stand your ground and say no, and be very firm. And it's very, very difficult, especially if, like me, you're a people pleaser, or you were brought up never to say no, always to please others, to do as you're told, and never to complain. And basically, if you've learned from a young child that you're not entitled to your own opinions and to your own wishes and to what you want. You're not entitled. But some people feel very entitled, like narcissists. They feel very entitled. And if you don't give them certain things, they will get very angry. And so this is number 3 coming. This is the reaction. The person who asks you the favor or who asks you to do something, or they're not going to take no for an answer a lot of the times. If they do, that means they're very mature and they're a good friend or a good partner or a good parent or child, and they accept it, and they respect who you are, they respect your boundaries, they respect your wishes. So really respect comes into play, and this is a very important part of human interaction. If there's no respect, then there are no boundaries, and people walk all over each other, and it's very dysfunctional. So if the person takes your no as an answer and accepts it, and respects you, then you're on a winning path, because this person is not going to be any trouble. But a lot of the times the person will not take no for an answer, and there will be a reaction, and this can be a very nasty reaction. There will be a backlash, and it might be in words or actions or even physical abuse. So what do you do then? What do you do? Very important, you need to sit back and detach from that person. That means don't get emotionally involved. It's their business. Their reaction is their problem. It's got nothing to do with you. You've told them how you felt. You told them you didn't want to do this, or you didn't want to be that way, or you didn't want, whatever it is. You said no, and it's your right to say no. It is your right. As a person, as an adult, you're allowed to make your own decisions, and you're allowed to say no. Now, this person's reaction is their problem. It has nothing to do with you and with your self-worth, with whoever you are. So let the person carry on whatever they're doing, trying to make you feel guilty, trying to make you feel ashamed, trying to make you feel a bad person, putting you down, telling you, oh, after everything I've done for you, and I've always been there for you, and I helped you back then, and I did this and I did that. The list goes on, and then sometimes it goes to swearing and verbal abuse. You're an effing this, or whatever it is. You just sit back and listen to it, and don't say anything, and you just say one thing to them. I understand, and I'm sorry you feel that way. And you tell them again, but unfortunately it's still no. And you leave it at that. If you don't get angry and you let the person ramble on and tell you their story, and don't say anything, don't do anything, don't be sarcastic, just look them in the eyes and say, I understand how you feel, and I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's still no. And you leave it at that. And this is basically how you deal with manipulators. And it's a very important skill, and I think it's the hardest skill to have and to learn in life. It's one of the hardest ones, especially if you were brought up as a people pleaser like me. Yeah, I'm your exemplary people pleaser and codependent. So there you go. Well, I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you'll be really, really happy today and every day of your life, and I'll see you soon.